we've talked ad nauseum about Léon Marchand at these Olympics, and he won again. Yet again, he makes it 4 for 4 in gold medals. He won the 200-meter individual medley this time. He was this close to breaking the world record set by Ryan Lochte. He was ahead. We've seen this so many times with these Olympics. Again, any swimmer is ahead of that yellow world record pace line that NBC puts up there, and then just at the end, the line outpaces the swimmer. So he missed it by, I think, 6/100ths of a second. So if that's the only complaint you have, that you barely missed the world record, not a bad day for him.
Yeah, and a world record that they said stood for 13 years.
Yeah.
Like you alluded to, we've talked about the slow pool phenomenon, and I don't know the physics of why specifically at the end of the race, but I have seen people saying that that has been a trend, that like the last lap, the leaders are dying at the end. And so that is just like a particular hallmark of the slow pool and sort of the effect that we're seeing of it. But yeah, I mean, world records are nice. Gold medals are what people remember. And 4 for 4 is unbelievable. That first night was still, I think, the loudest the crowd ever got, maybe because it was the first time seeing him. But to pull off the IM win in front of everybody, and then the double in the same night, which was even more impressive. Yep. I think that was butterfly and breaststroke, if I remember right. I remember both the races were 200 meters. And then this one, so now a perfect 4 for 4. I think that's his last medal of the games. And, there's something about 4 for 4 sounds almost better than 4 for 5. It's like kind of, like an annoying argument. Like when people talk about Michael Jordan being 6-0 in the finals and LeBron having lost the finals, and they use that as an argument, even though LeBron got there so many times. But just like it's aesthetically pleasing when you've got 4 golds and nothing else. That's actually sort of like the Caeleb Dressel line from Tokyo, where he had 5 golds and nothing else. And it stands out and it's memorable. And we're going to remember that he swam 4 finals and took golds in all of them. It's unbelievable and one of the coolest things about these Olympics so far.
Another big story has been Australia in the pool. So another gold medal for them. This is the 200-meter women's backstroke. Kaylee McCune won that one. She had previously won the 100-meter backstroke. She also won both of those events in Tokyo. Reagan Smith of the U.S. took silver in this one today after taking silver in the 100 earlier in the games. And so Australia, the U.S. is still leading the overall swimming medal count. They've got 21, but only 4 of them are golds. You may notice that's the same number as Léon Marchand has. But then Australia has 7 golds. 13 of their medals are gold. 7 of their 13 are gold, whereas only 4 of the U.S.'s 21 are gold. So, U.S. racking up the total golds, but not winning as many races as Australia, which is something that I think is surprising to maybe some people. That was a big rivalry coming in, but certainly Australia getting the better of it so far.
Yeah, you almost feel bad for Reagan Smith that she's got so many silvers, having to keep going up against Kaylee McCune. And Rowdy Gaines called her the greatest female backstroker ever, is what he said about her. So very high praise. And so, it makes sense. You've got a lot of silvers. I mean, and I think we saw that a lot of swimmers who had the unfortunate timing of having to go up against Michael Phelps for many years. They have a lot of silver medals as well. And that's kind of just how it happens sometimes. But, we've talked before about how a lot of the swimmers there are still very proud of silver medals and bronze medals, as they should be, and it's still a great accomplishment. And so, if you're going up against someone who's that historically great, then, sometimes the silver is it's certainly a nice takeaway, better than not being on the podium at all. And if you can rack up a bunch of silvers, you can still look back and say, I had a great Olympics, I had a great career. So absolutely no shame taking second to somebody that good.
And lastly, you mentioned Dressel having won the 5 medals in Tokyo, the 5 golds in Tokyo. Not going to happen this time. So he finished 6th in the 50-meter freestyle, which is kind of his big event. And then, so that was, the thing about the 50 free, right, the splash and dash, is like it's so fast. The margins are so fine. He lost this race by like 0.2 of a second, but like that's just how it goes. It's a short race. Those are the things that decide it. And then he goes out and he has a semifinal later in the night in the 100-meter butterfly, finished 5th in his heat, failed to advance to the final, so he's not going to defend that gold either. Just a really disappointing game for him overall.
Yeah, it's tough. They have to make decisions about which events they're going to swim, and it's different at different times in your career and what you feel up for. And so, and I'll be honest, and I should have looked this up, but I didn't. But I don't remember if these 2 events were on the same night last time around. I know they're not I guess the gold medal finals weren't the same night because they made a big deal about Léon Marchand winning 2 golds, which hadn't happened in a very long time. But I don't remember if 3 years ago Dressel had to do a medal and a heat at the same time. But, you know, he knows his body, he knows his best races and his specialties. So I understand if you're the defending gold medalist in both of these events, you want to enter both of them and you want to defend your titles. But, you know, no one will ever know, I guess, if he could have done better in one, if he had sat out another. But you can't blame him. And listen, like you said, the 50 free, I think it was half a second difference between first place and last place. So, you know, who knows how much it took out of him, or, you know, the differences are so microscopic that you don't know if the energy expended to be a tenth of a second faster would have been that much different. So who knows? I'm certainly not familiar enough with his regular practice regimen or anything like that to tell him which races to enter or anything like that. It's just, you know, you see that a guy is signed up to swim 2 races in one day and you hope for the best. And it's unfortunate for him that he got a bad result in both of the races. You know, even though, again, like you said, that close to being on the podium in the 50 free, and then, you know, a bummer to miss the final entirely in the 200.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, obviously, and he specializes in these shorter events, you know, where like we said, those margins are so fine, and you know, couple of tenths of a second here make all the difference. But you don't, you know, but you just see the leaderboard at the end. You don't get the whole story. You just think, oh, he biffed it. But no, it's, you know, he got close, but close isn't good enough.